Good evening, Mr. Ms. Internet and all our ships at sea. Once again, it's time for the Freeway Forum here on the world-famous 405 Freeway in beautiful, sunny Southern California. My name is Austerity. I'll be your host here for the next 20 or 30 minutes. However long it takes to get out of this traffic, which, by the look of it, might be longer, because apparently we're in the openings of March and May now, and apparently everybody's lost their collective minds, and nobody more so than Nintendo. Oh dear, Nintendo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now this is old news, of course, unless you've been living under a rock. In the sense that you don't pay attention to anything really going on in the gaming and or tech circles. Okay, so Nintendo had this brilliant idea, absolutely brilliant idea. The NES Classic was a plug-and-play device. It was a little miniature NES, 30 games built in, had save spots and everything, all the niceties you would expect from a virtual console type device or a virtual console type system in a small handheld sort of package that just plugs directly into the TV. Literally plug and play, just like you plug and play Atari flashbacks and the silly Sega Genesis plug and play machines, and of course all myriad of Namco and other arcadey everything's contained in a joystick sort of little gaming devices that have sprung up. You see them in gift shops and the back corner of the home electronics section at Target and Walmart, of course at CVS and places like that. So Nintendo had this brilliant idea that they're going to do their own with the NES, and it was brilliant. I mean, so absolutely brilliant that everybody wanted one. Everybody wanted one. Now, they're all, well, our target audience was going to be, the 30, 40 somethings who had a Nintendo 20, 30 years ago, 30 years ago. 40-somethings who had a Nintendo 30 years ago, and they want to relive those experiences. They're not necessarily gamers, they're just going to have a good time. Yeah, that's your target demo, but guess what? You're Nintendo. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves those games. Those are not only do you have some of the best NES games ever made, you have some of the best games, period, ever made on one console, on one plug-and-play device for $60. The price is right, man. That thing is going to sell like gangbusters, and it did. So well, in fact, that it has perpetually sold out. It has been perpetually sold out. There were still lines for the damn thing. Every shipment that came in, sold, gone. And then Nintendo said, you know what? We're gonna discontinue. Why? And the best explanation we can get is from Nintendo of America saying, well, it was just not supposed to be a long-term sort of product. It was just going to be a limited time thing, and it was just for the Christmas season for 2016 until we got the Switch out. That's all it was going to be for. It's like bullshit. Bullshit, guys. What is wrong with you? I mean, this stinks. This absolutely reeks of this sort of like Japanese austerity. This sort of like stereotypical Japanese. Well, we made a decision. We can't admit that we made a mistake, so we're going to save face and we're just going to keep going. We're going to discontinue it just like we thought we were. Who cares if we can move another 2 or 3 million units? Who cares if there is a demand for this product still, which is very evident by the fact that these things are still fetching quite a lot of money on eBay. We're fetching quite a lot of money in the secondary market. So, I mean, it stands to reason that there's still quite a demand, and you never, ever, I mean, if you're a good business person, you never, ever shut down production when there is such a high demand for a commodity. And that's what this is. I mean, this is not some stupid little artificially scarce thing. This is an emulator. It is literally an emulator system that's packaged in a shell that looks like an NES. And the problem I have here is that, and of course this is the problem everybody has, well, I can make my own, I got a Raspberry Pi, I can make my own. Well, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not the point, though. The point is you want a nice device, an official device. You don't want to pirate it. Because yes, the Raspberry Pi and the emulation scene, it's all still technically piracy, guys. And I'm not getting into the ethics of retro gaming. I'm not doing that today. That is well beyond the scope of this sort of discussion. Now, if you want to throw some hate, do it in the doobly-doo. Let me know your opinions on piracy and retro gaming, because I have mine and you have yours, and we probably agree on some things and we probably disagree on others. But I look at it, I'm looking at it from a dollars and cents standpoint, just from a business standpoint. There are literally people, they want to pay for the thing. They want to buy the thing. People want the damn thing. But, your best excuse is that, well, our resources aren't unlimited, so we don't want to dedicate them to building something that has a ridiculous market demand. That makes no sense. I mean, I understand you want to push the Switch. Yeah, duh, you want to push the Switch. This is not... You want to push the Switch, you want to push the 3DS. The NES Classic, obviously, by your own admission, is not the same... it's not the same audience. I'm not going to buy a Switch. I'm very likely not going to buy a Switch. I still have a 360 with a stack of games that I have not played yet. I will be doing a series where I finally actually go through and play all the games I have. Because I did sort of a dumb thing, because I like playing video games. I enjoy playing them, but I don't have time to play them. So what I do is I buy them when I see them on sale, and hopefully I will get around to playing them. So I will be doing a series where I actually finally sit down and play all these games. Until such a day that I actually sit down and play all the games I have, I will not be buying a Switch. It looks phenomenal. It looks like a lot of fun. It really does. And of course, Breath of the Wild is just gorgeous. Breath of the Wild is gorgeous. But I mean, I have not played Twilight Princess yet. I have not played any of the Zeldas on 3DS. So I'm so far behind. I mean, the last Zelda game I actually sat down and played through was Wind Waker. And yeah, you'll either love me or you'll hate me. I did not enjoy it so much. I was not a big fan of Wind Waker. I didn't like the aesthetic of Wind Waker, and I just didn't like the gameplay as much. I just felt it was too monotonous. It wasn't exciting like old school Zelda, like 1 through 3. It didn't have that same feel. I just didn't enjoy it. Now, and you'll also probably cry blasphemy. I haven't played either of. I have not played either of the 64 Zeldas. I have not played Majora's Mask, and I have not played Oracle of what is it? Drop me a line in the video because I can't remember. God, I'm a terrible gamer. I can't remember the Zelda title. I'm old school, dude. I am a retro gamer. I am straight up a retro gamer. There's not a lot of stuff that's coming out lately. There hasn't been a lot of stuff coming out in, I don't know, the last 10 years that I've been interested in. I like games that are interesting, that are fun, that I can pick up and play and enjoy, and that pull me in, that have a great mechanic, that have an interesting hook, and that's the kind of stuff I like to play. I love platformers. I love to play platformers, because that's what I grew up with, and those are the sort of things that I love. Platformers. I enjoy playing because I'm good at platformers. First-person shooters, they have to be really novel for me to enjoy them. I love the hell out of Portal. Love Portal. Portal was probably the last new game that I have really enjoyed. And when I say new, I mean like a new... I don't know, can you call Portal a AAA title? I'm not sure if that counts as a AAA title because it was sort of just an off project of the Half-Life engine. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of damn fun. And there's not a lot of stuff out there, Call of Duty, whatever. Fuck, they're all the same. Anyway, so looking at the Classic, I look at the NES Classic and I see somebody at Nintendo Japan, not Nintendo America. Nintendo America, they don't count. Like seriously, they don't count for anything because they're just kind of a lapdog. They're just a distribution center. They're localization and distribution. That's all they do in a way. So I have really no interest in a way at all. The sort of politics that come out. I don't care about what whatever his name is. I don't care what goes on in that little spot between the Microsoft buildings. Literally, if you've ever been to Redmond, if you've ever been to Seattle, and you've gone up to, you make your tech pilgrimage. You got to make your pilgrimage. That's what I do when I'm in areas where there's a major tech corporation that I follow or I enjoy. When I was in Mountain View, I wanted to go to Google, but Google has a closed campus, so you can't really go there. So I went to Google. I drove around Google, but I didn't get to really go inside. Conversely, when I was in Cupertino, I did go into Apple. I got a buddy that works there, and so he signed me in. I got to walk around, kind of see some stuff, saw some cool things, and had lunch there and drank some apple juice. Yes, I drank apple juice at Apple. Whatever is joke there. Anyway, so saw Cupertino, and I went to. That was in Seattle. I went to Redmond, and went to Microsoft. Microsoft has an open campus. They have a visitor center that you can go in. They got a little museum and gift shop, and it's more like a toned down version of the Microsoft store. So whatever. Basically, just as a gift shop, unless you know somebody that can sign you in. Which, hell, that's more than they really need to have. I just think it's neat. I think it's neat to be able to visit these places. There's sort of an interesting sort of connection when you can actually go to the place that builds the things that you use. So I like that kind of stuff. It's like you can go to Hollywood. When you go to Hollywood, you can go to the studio tours. You can go tour Fox, or you can go tour Warner Brothers or Disney or whatever. Well, Disney's a whole different story. You go to Disneyland or Universal Studios. You go to the theme park. The theme parks are their own sort of thing. But obviously, a tech corporation is not a theme park unless you're working with them. So I thought it was funny. I went and visited Microsoft, and I didn't realize how close I was. Nintendo of America was right there. So I just drove up the street to NOA's headquarters, and it's so it's kind of cute, and it's kind of funny, and it's kind of depressing all at the same time, because NOA's headquarter campus is literally surrounded by Microsoft. It is literally like surrounded on 3 sides by Microsoft, and then across the street is like a gym, like some little like gymnasium, where go at like a juice bar. But everything else around them is Microsoft. Like they're smacked out, because Microsoft takes up a lot of room. It takes up several city blocks worth of campus. So I mean, it's like its own office park, and Nintendo is like one building inside the office park. That is, the rest of it is Microsoft, which is just funny to me and a little sad at the same time. But again, this is Nintendo of America. They don't do a whole lot. They're sort of like logistics and management and some PR and little stuff like that. Maybe localization for Nintendo titles. That's really all they do it in a way. They handle the imports. That's really all they do. They're a clearinghouse. So, and of course it is closed. It's closed campus, so you can't go in. They will kick you out very quickly, but you can go take a picture at the sign, which is what I did. I just stopped and took a picture at the sign and on my merry way. Anyway, so when I talk about Nintendo, I don't care what NOA does. I really don't. Unless NOA would actually stand up and start making demands of Nintendo, there's really nothing I care about NOA doing, because NOA is supposed to be, I don't know, my opinion is that if they're going to be, they're sort of like the local customer service. They should be an advocate for the American market. And when I say American, I do mean the US, the Canadian, and the Mexican markets. North American market. They really should be an advocate for this market, because it's a super strong market. I would argue, I don't know the numbers, but I would assume that North America is probably the largest market for Nintendo products. I don't know. So, I mean, if you do happen to know, drop a line in the doobly-doo. Give me a drop a comment in there. Let me know. Give me a source, somewhere to look. Anyway, so it just, corporate culture in Japan is very, very stoic. It's very, the higher-ups have made a decision, and they are infallible. They cannot be questioned. It must not be questioned. In Japan, they have a really bad problem with this, from what I understand of my business education, my international business education, my dabbling into international business. My smattering of experience with international business, Japan has a sort of this corporate culture of, the higher ups are there because they're there. It's their position, and it is your position to do as you're told and not to question it, which is sort of how I assume NOA sort of works with Nintendo. Which is unfortunate. It sucks. It's kind of dumb, actually. NOA should be American and be like, no, bitches! We want more units. We need more units. Manufacture some more units for us, because we're selling the shit out of them. And that's really where it comes to this clash of corporate cultures and societal cultures. Nintendo's a very top-down culture. It's very as we say goes, and that's where this whole idea of austerity comes into. Well, we only planned for this to be something that was for holiday 2016, a limited run, and that's all it's going to be. And, demand to be damned. And that's it really is, it's unfortunate because they're ignoring their audience. They really are, you know, they wanted their target audience to be such and such. It ended up not being such and such, so they, instead of adjusting to the demographic shift, they're simply just going to say, no, we're going to stick with our original plan, and that's it. Which is, I can't fathom how dumb this is. I can't get my head around this. Now, I am just Joe Schmo average. I am not, like I have stated before, I'm not like a super gamer, you know, kind of guy. I don't work for Kotaku. I know a guy that works for Kotaku, actually. Or I kind of know him. I know his wife. You know, been friends with his wife for like 20 years now. But seems like an okay guy. I've only met him on a handful of occasions. He seems like a good guy. I don't know. I'm curious, Mike, what your take on all this is. If you see this, let me know. Because I would love to talk to somebody who, for lack of better words, knows what they're talking about within the industry. Somebody inside the industry, somebody inside the journalistic side of the industry. Because I'm really just a pundit. I'm a talking head. That's what the Freeway Forum is. It's punditry. I'm somewhere in the middle. I am the voice of me, and maybe I represent people, maybe I don't, but I'm always open to hear things from people. I'm always open to hear these ideas and hear other perspectives, and you know, we talk it out. There's some things I agree with people on, some things I don't, and I make those opinions known, and I'm open to debate. I'm open to friendly intellectual debate. Anyway, so Nintendo, what are you doing? I'm not going to say please. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to tell you, you're making a mistake. You're making a huge mistake. I don't care what your plans are down the line. You're selling yourself short here, and if you're talking about an SNES Classic product, if you're really considering that, which is what the rumor is, if you're really considering that product, I would think again, because I think that you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot. You're going to burn yourself on this. It's okay to admit you made a mistake. It's okay to admit you miscalculated, but do it while you can still fix it. It's not too late. If you can get another couple million units out, which should not be a problem for you. You're Nintendo. You have the logistics. You have the purchasing. You have the supplier support. You have the vendor support. You can do this. You can pump out a couple more million units. It can be done. How many million Switches have sold already? Something like 10 times what the Classic has sold. But still, I mean, yeah, there's a huge market for this. There's a huge market for both. But obviously you had to meet demand for the Switch. I get it. But don't shut the program down until you've met the demand for the Classic, because the only people who are going to win here are the scalpers. They're the only ones that are going to succeed here. They're the only ones that are really going to win. I feel like if you don't reconsider and you don't meet the demand of the NES Classic, then you are going to really. And this is just speculation. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Here's my thought is that people are going to be burned, and when they see the SNES, they're going to say, you know what? I'm not all excited about it because I'm probably not going to get one. And, people aren't going to line up in the stores for it. People aren't going to line up outside the stores for it. They're going to say, you know what, no, to hell with it. no, Timmy, you're not going to get an SNES Classic for Christmas because Nintendo's not going to make enough. Everybody's already jaded. This is just my theory. I'm just spouting at the wind. Everybody's already jaded. They're not going to be interested. Yeah, you'll still sell more Switch units, obviously. And I know that's your baby. That's your moneymaker right there. But don't neglect that. Don't neglect that marketplace. And in the meantime, people are going to be buying Raspberry Pis. They're going to be buying Raspberry Pis, and they're going to be hacking your controllers, and they're going to be building. They're going to be buying 8-bit DOE controllers and retro-bit controllers, and they're not going to buy your hardware. Keep the money in the company, man. That's the smart way to do it. But I mean, if you're not going to do it, I have absolutely no love lost because I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say against piracy at that point because you're not making a product available through a channel that people are willing to pay for. So you can't complain that people are getting it through unofficial channels when there is a demand for it. If you're not meeting the demand, then you have to deal with consequences of piracy. That is my opinion on piracy. That is my broad opinion on piracy, and it sort of goes along the way of video piracy, of music piracy, and of game piracy. If it's not being distributed in a format that people want and the availability that people want, then you have it is not the market's problem, it is the distribution's problem. So if you are locking down titles with DRM and saying you can only watch them on certain platforms, and people don't want to use those platforms, you don't have a market problem, you have a distribution problem. Just like the music industry found out, people want to listen to MP3s. People want to listen to MP3s on their own devices. And if ripping a CD and copying it over to a hard drive, or to an iPod, or a Zune, or a Creative Zen, a Stone, or whatever, copying it over to an MP3 player or burning it onto another CD to listen to as a mix, you don't have a market problem there. You have a distribution problem because the market the free market is finding the solution to the closed market, and that is how we are. Life finds a way, as Dr. Ian Malcolm so quaintly put it. Life finds a way. So that's all I got on the NES Classic and the idea of austerity. Please let me know your comments. Drop your comments in the doobly-doo. I do my best to respond to everything as quickly as I can. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe. There should be a little thing down in the corner. Be sure to subscribe. When you do, make sure you click that bell so you get the notifications. Otherwise, you might not get the notifications. You'll never know when I get a new video. No, you can't possibly know that. Can't possibly have that happen. So please do subscribe. Share it with your friends if you enjoy this. If you think somebody you know is going to enjoy it, share it with your friends. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. And give it a thumbs down if you don't. Whatever. All good. Anyway, yeah, so youtube.com/The Airborne Surfer. Lots of other interesting things there. Of course, you hit me up on the Twitter @Airborne Surfer. One word, Airborne Surfer. And everything else is at airbornesurfer.com. You can subscribe, get the RSS feed, and pop it into your Feedly or your favorite RSS reader because Google's reader is dead, but whatever. We'll be doing a video about RSS in a little while. Anyway, yeah, that's really all I got. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Until next time, tally ho, y'all.